Do you remember Detective Quinn asking you whether you were running from two females?
No, ma'am.
Welcome back, y'all. Cloud chasing is at an all-time high.
Do you remember Detective Quinn asking you whether you thought maybe the two females
I don't
were
got
cops?
no spill. I just keep it all the way real.
No, ma'am.
And we just going
Do you remember
over
telling Detective
Antonio
Quinn
Bean
that you were thinking
testimony.
that maybe when the car stopped that the two females were in, you didn't know whether they were going to one of the buildings or what was going on, but you knew that you were going to go around them?
No, ma'am.
Basically, this guy walked up in the police
Do
station
you recall Detective Quinn asking you
and
in a
gave them
September
all kind of
2013
information
interview,
on an
did you
active
think
case?
the two females were trying to stop you from leaving the scene where the gunfire was?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember telling Detective Quinn that you thought you were going around a car that's still moving, and this car just hit all of a sudden?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember telling Detective Quinn during a September 2013 interview when asked, did you hear any commands? I ain't hearing no freeze, get out, let me see your hands. I heard none of that. Do you remember saying that?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember telling Detective Quinn during a September 2013 interview, I ain't heard no shots go off by no police officer?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember Detective Quinn asking you whether anybody in the car with you mentioned that the two females were the police?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember Detective Quinn asking you whether out of all four people or the three others besides yourself in the car, whether either one of them ever said anything about the police?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember telling Detective Quinn neither Big Fred nor anybody else said anything? There was a 12 shot or anything like that. Do you remember saying something like that during an interview with the police in September 2013?
No, ma'am.
And let me translate that. 12 shot in Atlanta means a police got
Quinn
shot.
asking you in a September 2013 interview about you all having gone through the yard, having hit all those tricycles, and that there could have been kids on those bikes?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember telling Detective Quinn that you could have lost your own life?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember Detective Quinn telling you during a September 2013 interview that you all cleared a police car backed under the wall and just missed it?
No, ma'am.
Let me sum this up, man. This guy was in an incident. It was a life-changing, come to Jesus type incident. Some shooting and stuff like that was going on. And at the time, this guy was just so happy to make it through with his life and possible freedom that he was so willing to tell full details of exactly what had happened. And that's why police was able to piece everything together to the point of starting an investigation for a RICO. And the thing about that is, Young Thug continued to do acts because this is only the beginning of why the RICO case was started in the first place. We still haven't gotten around to Big Nut and that whole situation. So with that being said, just realize how much information they actually got out of this guy at that particular time.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you about a phone call with your wife wherein you said, why did I get involved with those young motherfuckers over and over again?
I don't recall, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that the people in the car with you were gangbangers, but that you don't gangbang?
No, ma'am.
And at this point, do y'all feel that he was either paid off or intimidated to either change his story or not comply? Or why don't you think he's not going through with the full testimony? Because honestly, y'all, if this man would sit up here and testify yes to all those things that this DA is asking him, that would be very damning evidence against Young Thug.
Do you remember Detective Quinn telling you that he had to go talk to the people that were in the car with you again?
Your Honor, objection basis hearsay in approach. Okay.
They gotta go up to the bench on dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's obvious. It's obvious he gave statements back then, and like I say, the elephant in the room, right? Was that person with the lace front rig? Was that Young Thug, y'all? Please tell me in the comments. Was that person with the lace front wig actually Young Thug? Yes or no?